Hi guys, hope you're doing well. So this video is the part 2 of a video segment which actually lists down all the key differences between budget, mid-range and a premium smartphone. So if you haven't watched the part 1 of the video yet, do check that out. I'll put the link in the description and also on the card above. In this segment, let's discuss on the processor and the camera differences. Firstly, the processor. Budget and mid-range phones usually come with a less powerful processor. This processor might either be new or would be a year or two old, but flagship phones always come with the latest processor with regards to the year they are launched in. And these processors are very powerful. But you see, the thing is that you won't notice the difference in day-to-day usage, even though the technical benchmark scores would say otherwise, especially when the device is new. However, you might start to see some performance degradation as the device starts to age, and this degradation starts to show earlier on budget phones and interrupts your usage. For example, my Xiaomi Mi A3 just 6 months down the line started to show some app crashes and also would restart on its own, and the camera processing also became much slower. The best in performance, I would say the top, would be the Apple's iPhones. Apple's Bionic chips are a beast. They handle tasks faster than Windows 10 PCs, and even a couple of years down the line, they still hold up. And this really reflects in photos, your daily usage, and whatever you do with the phone. So guys, processor is an important thing too. So if you spend a little more on a device that has a better processor, then it would mean more reliability and a better user experience. Now let's jump to the cameras. Phone manufacturing companies are using cameras as one of the biggest selling points. And even budget phones are adding ultra wide and macro lenses in their phones. Even that megapixel game is going on. 48 megapixel, 64 megapixel. And premium devices like the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra and even the Motorola Edge and also the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 has the 108 megapixel camera. Well, do know that megapixel count is not the only important factor in taking good photos. In fact, it's far below the line. The first thing is the sensor that the phone uses, second is the post-processing software, and third is the processor. That is why I have mentioned processor in this segment. All these factors work together to give the final output. Let's take an example now. The Xiaomi Mi A3 came with a good Sony IMX processor, but the stock camera app that Xiaomi uses has a tendency to smoothen out images, and also the lower end processor that it used made it require a longer time to post-process the images, which ultimately results in low shutter speed and also bad quality images. Now on the same phone, I use the Gcam app, which is basically a Google Camera Mod app. It's an app that uses the same algorithm as Google Pixel devices do. So just by putting the Xiaomi stock camera app out of the equation, I was able to get crisp and detailed images. That is why iPhones have always excelled at images and even videos, because they have respectable sensors, a world-class post-processing algorithm, and an unbeatable processor. So if you like to click and post a lot of photos, and photos are your priority, then I would suggest check out a phone that does it all. Or else at least the phone should have a good processing algorithm. Now do note that each manufacturing company sees a good image differently. Like iPhones produce true to life images, Samsung boosts up the colors, Google Pixels boost up the saturation and definition, making the images ultra sharp. So do check out camera reviews to understand them better. So guys, that was it. Do let me know in the comment section if you have any questions and I'll make sure I answer them. Also, I'll be updating more differences in my future videos as and when new devices get released.